Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the first Winter 2022-2023 seasonal model roundup from GavsWeatherVids. Wow, big video for you on this Saturday morning. You can get 15 long range models together and see what they're all showing for Winter 2022-2023 for the first time this season. So this is like the opening salvo for winter in terms of the long-range models from the world's leading forecast centres. It's going to be very interesting watch, I think. And I should get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video receipt was our 6 AM upload. And what we get forecast today's 14 day coming up too later on. So please check out the videos if you'd like to back, please like, subscribe, thank you so much everyone. But then now, thank you so much to Rich for the gift. Should we play it? Let's do it. There we go. Thank you so much, Richard, for the winter updates gift. I love it. I love a gift. We're going to name the bird as well. I'll have all the details about that on tomorrow's live stream, on Sunday's live stream. So we will be naming the bird. I'm loath to call it a robin because I've been told that it's probably not a robin. It's something else. I don't know, but we're going to name the dick anyway, to name a bird. And I'll give you the details on that tomorrow when we do the live stream on that. So, very sweet though, isn't it? Nice little bird. I love it. Sorry everyone. Right, now, what am I doing? Right, yes, so just to say, this is the first season round. There'll be 2 more after this, one at the end of October, one at the end of November. I don't know what I'm saying really, and you know, it's all building up the picture forensically along with winter updates, week by week, month by month, until we release our forecast, which will be released on Sunday the 4th of December. So yeah, exciting times over the next couple of months or so. Right, okay, well, we're going to crack on then, I think, now, with the first seasonal model roundup, even for Winter 2022-2023. Just say that, if you can, please like, share, subscribe on video. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, we're going to start off with CanSIP. So we'll deal with the North American models first, then we'll go over to Europe. We're going to start off with CanSIPs, mean sea level pressure anomaly for the winter of 2022-2023. This is from Tropical Tidbits. So it looks unsettled for the winter with CanSIPs. An area of low pressure is sitting over the UK with some high pressure in the Atlantic. That could bring in like a northwest-southeast alignment to the jet stream. Not particularly blocked, so it won't be overly cold, but there might be a little bit of cold snap potential with that. The temperature anomaly isn't all that far from average. So it's not an excessively warm winter being predicted there, near normal to slightly above, which again will give the possibility anyway of 1 or 2 cold snaps, and a wetter than average winter is predicted there, hardly surprising with low pressure dominating the scene. I'm so sorry everyone. Right, going to have a look at the NMME suite of models next. Starting off with the temperature anomaly from NASA, the winter 2022-2023. So slightly above average, near normal to slightly above, and not excessively warm or hot with the NASA model. And precipitation near normal, driving average to the south, wetter than average to the north. That looks like a classic sort of Atlantic type thing. GM, Nemo, looks like that, slightly above average again, maybe a little bit more compared to NASA, so mild and average winter, fits about, and a little bit wetter as well. Not excessively wet, but slightly above average rainfall from the GEM. And then we've got NCAR, which looks like that, and has slightly above average temperatures again. And also looks really quite wet with significantly above average rainfall. So all 3 of those going for mild and average winter to varying degrees. The NASA model only ever so slightly above, the other 2 a little bit more. IRI probability maps next. This is, of course, Columbia Climate School International Research Institute for Climate and Society. Try saying map when you've had double magic water. Right, I don't know. So here we go. And temperature anomalies from IRI for winter 2023 look like that. Actually, probability favours a slightly cold average winter for Scotland. Look at that, you don't see that very often on these maps. Scotland in that pale blue there, which is like 40% probability of below normal. Elsewhere, for Ireland, England and Wales, like most of Europe, we're in the 40% probability of above normal temperatures. Not too far from, you know, normal though, either way really, but probabilities for both below and above are in the lowest bracket. And in terms of precipitation, that looks a little bit stronger, a single there, 40% probability to be wetter than average across most parts of the country. So near normal temperatures probably, and a rather wet winter. Patal Peng's analogues for winter 2022-2023 looking like this. Remember, Patal is doing things a little bit differently. Patal looks at sea surface temperature anomalies across the world in any given month, in this case in August, and then goes back through past years that had similar sea surface temperature anomalies, looks what weather's doing in those years, and then creates an analogue-based forecast going forward. Now, this looks quite strange from Patal Peng. So it looks like the Azores have displaced and pushed over towards the east coast of America. That's got low pressure down there close to the Azores and through Spain as well. So it looks like it's got a little bit of a negative LEO going on, but there's no particular northern blocking except for some high pressure up towards, wait for it, Svalbard! There's some high pressure up towards Svalbard, and so we're projecting probably doing something a little bit like that. There might be the possibility of bringing in like easterly flows at times, but it is a very strange 200 millibar height anomaly, I have to say that. As far as temperature anomalies are concerned for winter, again, similar to the other ones we've seen so far, very close to average, little bit above, not excessively warm. The real warmth for this winter, and Patal Peng is right, is in the north and the east of Europe. But then again, the cold is over in Russia and also in Canada, on the western side of Canada, where it has been over several winters as well. And then in terms of precipitation, so a drier than average winter being predicted by Patal Peng here. I think Patal Peng's analogue do look a little bit different though, I have to say, and might have the possibility of something colder going on at times, even if he's not predicting an outright cold winter. CFSV2, 700 millibar height anomaly. Looks like this, below average height, pretty much over top of the country. Azores high, again, is displaced away from us in the middle of the Atlantic and over towards the eastern side of America. At the very least, that could allow the prospect of a northwest-southeast alignment to the jet stream and possibly a few colder interludes mixed in. Although the temperature anomaly from the CFS is above average, so a mild winter is being predicted for the entirety of Europe, although the warmest anomalies, again, are over on this eastern side of Europe, and the precipitation anomaly looks rather wetter than normal, with CFS V2, a wet but mild winter predicted there. Right, that's the North American models done with. Let's come over to Europe then, starting off with ECMWF. If you're enjoying this season model roundup, by the way, first season model roundup winter 2022-2023, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so, mean sea pressure anomaly from ECMWF showing a high pressure regime from the Atlantic and going into Northern Europe as well. That might get the wind into the east, particularly so for more southern areas. It certainly doesn't look overly Atlantic driven. Temperature anomalies, again, similar to the other models we've seen, just near normal to ever so slightly above in that yellow shading. Certainly not excessively warm winter, not like last winter, for example. And precipitation-wise, again, sort of no signal or average, really. Let's go through the Copernicus suite, shall we? Starting off with Meteo France. Now, this looks more zonal. This is mean cell pressure anomaly winter 2022-2023 from Meteo France. It looks zonal, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and seemingly bringing the wind from off the Atlantic. It looks Atlantic-driven, and zonal temperature anomalies are a bit above average, again in that sort of half a degree above, so not excessively warm, but slightly above average. And this one looks a little bit more unsettled too, with above average rainfall, especially so more towards the north and west. GWD, the German model for mean sea level pressure anomaly, looks like that. High pressure from the Azores extending into the west, southwest Europe. Low pressure is to the north. Strong jet stream going through there. That looks like a very mild winter, very mild winter, that one. Notice the temperature anomaly is warmer here. We're in the orange shading with this model. That's like 1 degree above average. Very warm winter being predicted for much of northern Europe as well, going into those red shadings. That's over 2 degrees above average. It's a north-south split, so it's a wetter winter to the north and it's a drier winter to the south. That's a very classic zonal winter that we see there. This is CMCC. This one looks a little bit more interesting from a colder perspective. We've got above average heights in the North Atlantic going up towards Greenland, so a mid-Atlantic ridge with a trough of low pressure over to the south and east of the country. You would look at that and assume the wind would be coming in, a lot of the time anyway, from the north or from the northeast. That's mean cell pressure anomaly from CMCC. For winter 2022-2023. The temperature anomaly is about average to ever so slightly above or has no signal. I reckon if that mean sea level pressure anomaly that we see there came off, though, I reckon that will be a colder than average winter. I think that's the first model we've seen that's going for a colder than average winter, even if it doesn't actually know it, you know, from its temperature forecast, from its pattern. I think that's the first model that we've seen that goes for a colder than average winter. And precipitation-wise, look how much drier than average it is up here. So I've got all the blocking, wetter than average there. So, yeah, I think that's like a colder winter. And then we've got the ECCC. Again, similarly with a mid-Atlantic ridge, although not necessarily going back to Greenland, and a trough of low pressure centred over top of the UK and Ireland. That's kind of like what the CFS is going for, isn't it? The temperature anomaly, no signal. So that one could be a cooler winter as well, I think, especially if you start raising the heights further north. You start taking that high pressure just a little bit further north there, send this low pressure, this trough more towards there, then again that will bring in the wind from the north or northeast. These two, what was it, CMCC and the ECCC, I think these two look at quite a lot more interesting from a colder perspective. Temperature anomaly, though, is about average or has no signal, and also quite a wet winter predicted there. Of course, if there was enough blocking and enough of a northerly influence, some of that could be wintry. And then finally, for the Copernicus suite, let's go to JMA. The Japanese Meteorological Agency model looks like that. Anticyclonic for winter 2020-2023, with high pressure right in over the top of the country. The temperature anomaly for winter 2023 with the JMA is about average to slightly above. A little bit on the warmer side, actually, compared to some of the models we've seen in this update. And a dry winter is predicted here, as you would expect, with high pressure dominating the scene. Let's continue with the Asian theme and go to China. Beijing Climate Center looks like this in terms of a 500 millibar height anomaly for winter 2022-2023. With high pressure in off the Atlantic, dominating weather. Jet stream is pushed northwards, and an anticyclonic winter expected there. 200 millibar height anomaly shows it up very nicely as well. Again, with the above average heights in from the Atlantic into West parts of Europe. A very dry winter would be like here. The temperature anomaly is a little bit above average, not excessively warm, but around half a degree, you know, above average. So a mildish winter, but not excessively warm. The main takeaway, though, I think from the Beijing Climate Centre is a dry winter. Very likely. Look how dry it is just to our west and south, where you would expect all of the rain-bearing systems to be coming from. No, we don't actually see that. What we have is drier conditions. So that will be a very dry winter after a very dry and hot summer. So that would, of course, if it did came off, if it verified, that would raise concerns about the possibility of the drought, if anything, intensifying by summer 2023. And then lastly, we've got the UK Met, and in complete contrast to the Beijing Climate Centre, this one, for the mean sea level pressure anomaly, looks very unsettled for winter 2023, with low pressure dominating across much of Western Europe. Again, 72 quite a few of these miles, the Azores high looks a little bit weakened and displaced away from us. So that could allow the potential for some colder snaps. You know, it's not a classic cold scenario because there's no northern blocking to support any sustained cold weather. But as the Azores high is pulled away from us, there could at the very least be the potential for colder interludes, colder snaps with that. But the main thing of that is that it's unsettled. The temperature anomaly, as with most of these models, is average to slightly above, but not excessively hot. Though Northern Europe does get quite a warm winter. And it's unsettled as well, with above average precipitation winter 2022-2023. Right, well, that's it then. What do we make of that, everyone? What do we make of that? Interesting, wasn't it? So, a lot of divergence within these ones, as you would expect. There are a few things that are coming through. Temperatures not excessively warm, just a bit above average with a lot of these models. There are a few that are look like they could be going towards a colder winter, particularly those two from Copernicus, CMCC and the ECCC. Those two look like they could be going for something a bit colder. There's a lot of divergence between whether it's high pressure or low pressure dominated winter. So the Beijing Climate Centre very much towards high pressure, UK Met towards low pressure. So yeah, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of differences between the model output. A lot of them do seem to suggest the Azores high displaced a little bit away from us in the Atlantic rather than ridging in. It's pulled away. So yeah, you know, for a first update, I think it's quite an interesting starting point. But of course, there are also the models like GWV that are very, very zonal and very, you know, very westerly and whatnot. So it's a mixed bag, and let's wait and see where we go when we get into our second update. Let's play the year. When we get into our second update that we'll do on the final Saturday of October, and then there'll be a third and final season model roundup for the winter, which will be on the last Saturday of November, just before we release our forecast and do our final update and whatnot as well. Right, so this video is going to be placed within the Winter Updates playlist here on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch this and all of Winter Updates as the season progresses through the playlist. And tomorrow we will have the fourth Winter 2022, I know I'm going to do that. We will have the first Winter 2022-2023 update. And that's going to be a very interesting update, actually, because for the first time this season, we're going to show you some forecasts from some of these models for the stratosphere for this coming winter. And we will also, for the first time this season, be having a good look at Eurasian snow cover and going back through the archives to see how we're doing for Eurasian snow cover. And the ANROD package this week is going to be for the QBO. So it's going to be a very, very interesting fourth update. I can't wait to do that and get it to you on Sunday morning, tomorrow morning at 10 AM. And they'll be live streaming, of course, at 8 PM on Sunday tomorrow as well. Right, so for this first Season 1 Roundup, Winter 2023, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you very soon with some more winter data. But for this one, that's it for now. Bye for now.